But right now, let's get the head of vehicle software over at NIKOLA. It's Mr. Ryan May. Ryan May, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Dooner, it's great to be here with you.
Hey, you're coming in. Where are you? Are you HQ right now? And if so, where is that?
This is HQ, yeah. Happy to join you here from Phoenix.
Well, you've been in Phoenix since you've been here through kind of it all, the whole NIKOLA journey, have you not? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing over there.
Yeah, I've been here going on 7 years now. Ultimately, I think what we're trying to do is shake up the market. We're focused on zero emissions, sustainable transport, and so just building things that customers want, focusing on value. That's kind of what we're looking for.
Now, when you talk software, some people may jump right ahead and they'll be like, oh, autonomous. No, we're talking about BEV and FCEV trucks, right? And you have a blank sheet of paper. You come in there half a decade or so ago, and you have to start writing software. How do you approach that? How do you approach writing software for the ZEV space?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, back then it was Wild West as far as, players that were there and everything. And so even today on the fuel cell side, it still is a little bit of a Wild West kind of show. But yeah, I think ultimately, we come in, we look and we see the opportunity, and it's still here. We're still looking at pretty interesting things as far as the BEV market goes and the fuel cell market goes. And so coming in, my background's not in trucking. I've had an EV for a while, since about 2013, and so I've gotten some exposure there. But ultimately, just came in and said, okay, as outsiders, kind of looking in, where can we add value, right? And so the goal at the beginning was to stay flexible. So we built some systems in house. We kind of did some things that were interesting as far as staying flexible and being able to generate that value. So it's been a pretty amazing ride. Like I said, from the beginning, till now, it's been a crazy ride to see how the company's changed and evolved, and really kind of planted a flag in kind of this movement toward sustainable transport.
Well, I'll tell you guys something. There's been a lot of talk about NIKOLA, but as things have come to fruition, as things have come together, I have been out to EV and fuel cell EV fleets, and the truck that they have on the lot and the trucks that they have on the lot every time are NIKOLAs right now. That's what people are driving. That's what people who are embarking on this journey are riding in. So you develop this software. You say you don't have the trucking experience, so why develop it in-house? Why not go outsource it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. At the beginning, I think, you think about what things were like 7-8 years ago in trucking and what things were available. It was a different world back then. Maps integration was terrible. Screens were just starting to become a thing. And so we said, hey, we see this as a big opportunity. We can approach this, very differently from how we have in the past, from, the commercial side, and really have an opportunity to shake things up. So yeah, we kind of came in with that clean slate, like you said, and really focused on, what are the things we can add to the experience. We've got to keep our drivers safe. We've got to offer them kind of new features. We've got to lower their distraction rate, even with kind of these bigger screens. Those are big opportunities, but they're also can be big distractions. I think that was one of the things on your list you went over, was driver distraction. So that was a big focus for us. We kind of came in and said, how can we crack this differently than people have in the past? How can we approach this, as an outsider coming in? And I think we did a pretty good job of doing that.
I was a couple months ago, and the documentary is out now. I went down to SoCal and I hung out with the Drage Fleet talent who's on that journey to transition. And I got to ride I'd previously been in the EV. Covenant had one up the street, and I got to go in. It was very smooth and it was very quiet. But I was really curious about how the FCEV worked, and I got to ride in one. But one thing I noticed is you couldn't tell the difference between which truck you were in, really. They look similar. You can tell, like, if you know what you're looking for, you can tell from the outside. But is that by design? Like, what is the connected ecosystem?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, we really started and said, okay, we're going to have two trucks. We're going to have fuel cell. We're going to have BEV. How do we make this one experience? We kind of saw a world where drivers could go from one to the other, and we really wanted that experience to be the same between the two trucks. And so there's a lot of differences. From my side, I see a lot of kind of those deep differences. But on the surface, as a driver, you really shouldn't have to know, anything special to operate one of these vehicles or hop from one to the other. It should be seamless. And so, I think, we kind of said, okay, we're going to create this new thing, this new truck. What does a truck need? And obviously there's the obvious things. They need to see the speed. They need to see all these kind of gauges and things that are happening. But ultimately, I think we saw an opportunity for more. We cater to fleets as well. So you're looking at big national accounts that are buying trucks, and they have different needs than an owner operator or an individual driver. and we have the great pleasure to serve both, right? So we get in there and we have to look at a driver and say, okay, what are the driver's needs? How can they work within this ecosystem? What do the fleets need? What do they need? So we started really at the truck and said, okay, let's build an ecosystem and an interface that makes sense, right, for a driver. Make it simple, make it a good experience. People are into big screens. I think you talked about driver retention earlier as well, and that's a big thing we see. We see people arguing over who gets to drive our truck versus another truck all the time. At our, kind of our fleet customers, but yeah, I think when we talk about the ecosystem, it starts at the truck. We built a mobile app that acts as a key, so it's kind of very cutting edge from that perspective. You can climatize the truck ahead of time, so if it's super cold or super hot here in Phoenix, we turn on the air conditioning on our trucks all the time because it's just freaking hot here. And so the truck, the mobile app, and then downstream we have a fleet management tool where you can assign drivers to the trucks. You can see what the trucks are doing and how they're performing. And then also we have a whole dealer and fleet management system for the service side of things. So creating warranty claims, purchasing parts, all those kinds of things, kind of soup to nuts. So we started the truck. We go all the way into the cloud. We have the data. We're working on some pretty interesting data science initiatives. Being able to predict kind of things that go wrong on the truck. Be able to get people in earlier, reduce downtime, those kinds of things. So the opportunity is pretty big from that perspective. We are kind of working on some pretty interesting things that we hope will reduce downtime, keep drivers happier, and ultimately pay off for the fleets.
Well, let's ask them, the drivers, how are they reacting to this?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think I've ridden along with a lot of people. I've been on these drives with some of the customers that we're talking to, and there is not a single person who comes out of that truck and says, "Oh, that was okay." Every single person is super excited about what it is, and the experience that's around it. It's a pretty incredible truck. Like you said, it's quiet. It's very torquey, very fast. That's maybe a problem we're still looking at addressing, just because you got all that speed, you got all that power. It's hard not to take advantage of it. So anyways, I think that the driver reaction's really, really great. We have, like I said, we have fights over who gets to drive our vehicles, and you can go to some of our fleets where they've got our trucks and other trucks, and 9 times out of 10, our truck is the truck that people choose. So it's pretty awesome.
Excellent stuff. Hey, before I let you go, what's been the best part about working at NIKOLA on this stuff?
I think ultimately being part of something that, we're shaking up an industry, we're doing different things. We've got a big opportunity. It's a pretty difficult place. We're, like I said, we're serving truck drivers, fleet operators, purchasing departments. There's a huge barrier to adoption from a clean vehicle perspective. And so it's a battle kind of on all fronts for us. We're really pushing hard everywhere. And so solving all these problems, trying to make sense of driver behavior. There's just so many cool, interesting problems. And obviously the people are here are great. I think where you work, the people you work with, that's what really matters. And so here at NIKOLA, it's awesome. The team here is great. We're doing everything we can to kind of help this push into adoption of zero emissions. And like I said, it's been a lot of fun.
Ryan, it was awesome to meet you. Everyone check out NIKOLA's website. Check out nikolamotor.com. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Diener.
Take it easy. All right.